It's a really interesting point of time that we're in, given the competition that is underway in what is perhaps the most important future technology out there right now. The artificial intelligence race, being compared to the space race of the 1960s and the 1970s, is broken into two very different platforms. The Americans have gone with the closed source systems, and the Chinese have decided to focus primarily on the open source systems. And we are now roughly a year into this real competition, and it is increasingly clear that it isn't just about who might win and who might lose. It's about what is required for each of these two systems to be able to operate the most efficiently. And the complication right now in the United States is on two different areas. One is quite frankly money, or what is referred to in finance CapEx, or capital expenditure. And there has been an enormous amount of essentially reporting and conversations over how much money is being spent by groups like OpenAI, Anthropic, Llama. These are the Google, Facebook, and other major organizations. They are spending hundreds of billions of US dollars to build out what are called data centers. These are essentially big, giant boxes where all of the chips need to go to be able to run the compute for all of the closed structures. But what really has yet to be, what I find, addressed is the commercial usage of these platforms. When you have a closed structure, that means that you have essentially what is called a silo. It's an individual unit. So you either go to ChatGPT, or you go to Anthropic, or you go to one of the others. But neither of the organizations actually talk with one another. They're all trying to create proprietary systems and then commercialize and try to make money off of those. The Chinese have taken a vastly different approach. The whole concept of open source, open weight models is that you produce a model, you have the code, and that code goes into the public domain. Anybody can look at it. And the reason why I find that this has been fascinating over time is you can use the open source platform to build your own models. You can take what one group did, improve upon it, and then create your own. And what we're actually finding now is that the Chinese models have become so useful, so valuable, so efficient, that organizations, large groups in the United States, predominantly even in Silicon Valley, the very spot where OpenAI, Anthropic, and all these others are building, these organizations are now beginning to use Chinese open source platforms to be able to build their own. There's been a number of different examples over the last several weeks, in fact, where these very senior executives in Silicon Valley are actually publicly stating that they're using Chinese platforms to be able to build in the United States. So really what this has moving forward is, where is the applicability for artificial intelligence? And that is another area where the Americans and the Chinese are diverging. One is looking at it from the standpoint of more, how can we create what we call God in a box? That's what the Americans are doing, a really advanced search engine, if you will, whereas the Chinese are looking for commercial applicability. How can we use AI to build efficiencies? And the fascinating and the most important, I think, part moving forward is, it is that element, is that how do you use AI to benefit, is where the Chinese are winning. And I think it is becoming increasingly clear that it isn't really a competition much anymore. I think it isn't that just the Chinese are winning. Increasingly, it's looking as though the Chinese have won.